Michelle from Nerdy Moms United, and today we're talking about how to set up a security plugin on your WordPress site. The plugin I personally use for my website and I recommend is All-in-One WP Security. Why do I recommend this plugin? It's because it's free and it has a lot of features to help secure your website. WordPress is another security plugin that people and other bloggers use. I just prefer the WP security over WordFence. There's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer all-in-one WP security. So let me show you the back end of my site and how you install and set it up, so that way you know what to do to set up your security plugin. So here's the back end of my WordPress site, and to set up the security plugin, we're going to go to plugins and hit add new. I'm also going to include a link below so it's easy for you to get that plugin without having to go searching for it. But I'm also going to show you how to install plugin anyway, just in case. So we're going to look for all-in-one WP security. Oops. Security. And it should come up. Here it is. This is the one I use. As you can see, it's already activated. To activate a plugin, all you do is hit install and then activate, and you're all set. Here's WordFence. It's also a very common one. I just prefer this other one instead because it has they both have firewalls. I just prefer this other plugin. So once it's installed on your WordPress site, you will see it down here in your dashboard, WP Security. And we're going to start with the dashboard and work our way through setting this up. As you can see, I already have it pre-set up, but I'm going to walk you through setting it up so that way you know what settings to use. And once you have it all set up, you can change them as you need to, depending on your needs and your plugins on your WordPress site. Once you get it installed, I would suggest doing a backup of your WordPress site using Updrafts Plus. That's the plugin I use to do backups of my site. So, and I will leave a link below to that video so that way you know how to do backups and restores of your sites for free. So let's go and take a look at the dashboard. Here's telling you your strength of your site and how secured, how it's being secured in its breakdown, and what critical features am I using on my site at this time. It also shows who's been logging in. If you have multiple users or administrators on your site, you're going to see when they're logging in. It's showing that I'm the one logging in. So there's no big deal of that. You can even set your site to maintenance mode if you need to. Also, you can protect your site from brute force attacks when people are trying to break into your admin account and site. It allows you to do that, and it tells you right here what your address is, so that way you know how to log into your WordPress site with your new address. And all you do is just save that, so that way you can log into the back end of your site. Now, this address is not for your website visitors. This address is for getting in to your WordPress dashboard, this dashboard here. So that way you can write new posts, create new pages, and all that fun. It's for your administrative account. So it'll show your address here. You want to bookmark that, and it tells me how many times I'm logged into the site. I am logged into it on another machine at this time, so that's why it says there's 2. Also, you can lock out IP addresses, especially if you're dealing with people trying to get in. You can block them completely and they can never get in. So let's go ahead, and you can see your system information here, which is pretty much the same stuff you saw below. Next, we want to go to our settings. I know there's a lot of features here for WP security, but it's important for me to go over some of these with you because you can accidentally lock yourself out of your site. That's why I wanted you to make a backup beforehand. Also, I want to make sure you do it the right way so you don't run into issues. So this is the settings portion, and here we're going to just set everything up. I think this one's pretty basic. Yeah, I didn't set anything for disabled, so at this time. That does change over time, but I really don't think you need to worry about it if you set up your other security stuff. Also, they have great videos on how to do stuff and to configure your plugin. So your .hta or HT access file is very important, so you want to make sure you check that setting and it's set up properly, so it's protected. Okay, you want to check your HT access file to make sure everything's set up correctly. Right now, there isn't anything that needs to be changed because I have a backup system that saves my HTA file. When you're first starting up and setting up your security plugin, you want to follow the tips they give you on making backups as you go, just in case. So you just go ahead and hit backup and to save a backup for your HT access file before you get started. If you need to restore it, you just use this tab area here. Same thing here with your WP config file. You want to go ahead and make a backup, and that way you have it and you're also able to restore it from right here. This is the stuff you want to do before you get started with setting up this plugin, and I highly recommend it. You can also see your WordPress version information, imports and exports, and advanced settings. I'm not going to worry about the WP version information or import or export because we're not doing anything with that. But we're going to quickly check the advanced settings tab. And it looks like everything's good here. I would not suggest changing anything in this area unless you know what you're doing with the server, especially if you're dealing with load balancers or Cloudflare. So I would suggest not changing anything in this tab. Let's move on to user accounts. Okay, this is where you can administrate over the accounts on your WordPress site, and you can control stuff here. So I made sure to set up the basic security right now for this. I made sure that my admin username is not set to admin because that's just not good security. So I have it a different name, so that way it makes it harder for it to get hacked into. Under the display name tab, I can control that feature. Right now I don't have any that I need to change, so it's not a big deal. That's the one I use for testing, not a big deal because it's not even activated for anything, so I actually removed it. And here I can control passwords for the site, and I can put it here to test to see the passwords are strong for my site to make sure they're harder to get cracked or get hacked into by a hacker. So it's just a good way to see if you're really being secure. Okay, I see the user login. The users that are logged into the site, if they have a username and password. The only person who logs in is me. So, and it'll just show how many devices I'm logged into my site with at this time. I can lock down features on my site on how they're getting logged into to prevent brute force login attacks. So if you want, you can copy my settings that I have here. I do enable login lockdown features. I have that checked. Allowed unlock request. I have that checked. Max attempts for logging in. Right now it's at 5. Login retry period in 5 minutes. I will change that setting after this video because this is just for video purposes. For that specific setting, I do make it a lot higher. Time length of lockout, I have it set for 60 minutes. I also have instant lockout for individual usernames. I have that checked, and then I can add them here as needed. That way, if I have an account that I'm using for testing purposes, or I'm temporarily letting a plugin admin into my site to help me troubleshoot something with our plugin, that's when I give them an account. Once they're done, I would set it for lockdown right here. So that way they can't get back in after we're done. Not that they do that kind of stuff, but it's just a security thing that I do. I'm very particular on security when it comes to IT. And then if things happen on my site, I want to be notified, especially security. And so I check this box and I put my email address that I want those messages to go to, so that way I can get them handled. And once you're done, you hit the save settings button and you're good to go. And the rest of these I haven't changed because I haven't needed to. So you're good here. And then also it records failed login records of people trying to get into the site with failed login attempts. It records that. Forced logout time. That one's actually really good because it doesn't leave your site open for attack. I mean, it's good to do a forced logout. I even have it set for my admin account, so if it's been open for a really long time, I have it do a forced logout. So I have it set, and you want to do a force logout right here by checking this box and hitting the save button. Here with the account activities login tab or logs tab, you can see what the different accounts are doing on your site that you do have, how often they're accessed, and everything. See, as you can see, I'm only the one in there, which is how it should be, and users that are logged in at this time. And then you can check on users that are registered on your site. As you can see, I was doing something with the guest account. Here's where you want to control manually approving new registrations, so that way you know who is trying to get into your site. So this is where you want to check this box and hit the save button if you have that going on. I don't have any way for people to register on my site for really anything, so I don't have that, but it's not bad to have anyway on your site, so that way you know who's trying to get in. So go ahead and check that box and hit the save button. Also, you can set up registration to make sure people aren't trying to register inside your site, like a bot. What bots are is a piece of software where it's set up to go to different websites and put spam comments in your blog. You don't want that. It's annoying. It's a waste of your time. And I have that turned on here. Go ahead and check that box and save setting. And registration honeypot. That's really good. It keeps the bad guys out. So this, try it and then see if anything occurs on your site, because it can cause issues with commenting on your site. If you want comments on your site, then you're going to want this unchecked. So there's other ways to keep bots out of your site. If you want to enable the honeypot for the registration page, this is where you set it. I don't have a registration page on my site, so this really doesn't apply for what I'm doing because I don't have that site or that page set up. If I was running a site with a registration page, then I would definitely need to turn on this setting to keep bots out of and hackers out of my site. So next, database security of your blog. All right, database security. Okay, here I have it set up, and I do have it backed up. Not using this feature, I have a different one that I prefer, so I don't have it set up for this one. As you can see, I already have my database prefix already set, and I have it backed up. And you need to do a backup before you start. Plain and simple, you need to do that before you start. If you're gonna change it, I wouldn't. So mine's different. I did change it a while back, but just be very careful. I have mine set up with my Updraft Plus, so it changed the name for it that way, so it is protected in that way. It's just not through this method. Okay, here, before you change any settings, please do a backup and then set your settings. Here, check the top checkbox. You want it to back up once a week. I have Updrafts Plus do once a day backup as well, and I designate how many backups I want my security plugin to do for me. I have it sent to an email where it lets me know when it's completed and where to save the backup, and then you hit save settings. So, and here's where I can create the backup as well. So it's always good to have one, especially if you're not using a backup plugin. I actually use this also for my backup, so I have 2 ways of backing up my database, just in case, because I like to be safe than sorry when it comes to my website. So next, we're gonna go to the next setting. We're gonna look at the file system security. Here's where it's going to tell you where you have vulnerabilities in your site, which you need to take action on, and it'll tell you what action to take. Make sure you do a backup before you do this because you want to protect yourself, and I highly suggest that. So mine's already set up. I already have security set up on all my stuff, so I'm not going to scroll down and show it to you. When you get yours installed, you'll be able to see yours. There isn't anything really to set on this screen that you can really do, because mine is all done. Okay, for PHP, you can disable file editing for here. I do things that I need to edit it, so if I disable that, it causes me issues later. So only activate this if you don't do any PHP file editing. That's totally up to you. I know I do, but because I do super nerdy things. So, and that's one of the things that I do. So, but for people who don't mess with code, check that box and hit the save button and you're good to go. Okay, next one is WP file access. I have a tool that I use to do file access stuff on my site. So if I lock this down, it will keep me from doing that. So I actually use this with my WP files. So if I lock it down, I can't do certain things that I normally do. But if you're not editing them or doing any code changes, I would suggest that you lock this down to prevent those things from being changed. Just check the box and save settings. Okay, now your host system logs are important. That's how your system reports how healthy it is and what's going on. I did not change the preset name. I would leave it alone because you don't want it to have issues where it can't do what it needs to do. Okay, Blacklist Manager. This is more of the antivirus piece of it. Now, you want to be careful, and this is an advanced setting. You can lock yourself out of your whole dashboard if you're not careful. And I would not want that to happen to you. If you're having problems with a country block add-on, you can get that instead, which is right here. If you're having problems with other countries constantly pinging and trying to hack into your site, that's how you would block them. And you'd put that stuff in here, but I would suggest using this instead of trying to do it this way. You don't need that headache. And it's advanced settings, so you don't want to do that. So I would suggest not using this setting and use this one instead, the country blocking add-on. Okay, now we're going to look at the firewall. This is the basic firewall settings. And you do want to set this. You want to enable basic firewall to protect your site and your max file upload size. So that way you can keep people from trying to upload things that shouldn't be there. I don't allow anyone or have a way for people to upload anything into my site, but I did set it just in case to keep the nefarious characters out from doing something naughty, because I don't want naughty things on my site. And then for this one here, I do certain things on my site that I need it, the XML CRPC not blocked, so I didn't block it because I do certain things that I need it not completely blocked, but I did disable the ping back. So, because I don't use Jetpack or WP ISO. If you use that, then I suggest to not block it. So it's all depending on what you're using for your other plugins. So that's why they have the more information. So you're going to want to read that and set them accordingly to what you need. Definitely blocking this to keep people from doing things with that, because I don't want people in there in my debugging files. I need them to be exactly the way they are when I'm troubleshooting an issue. Not everybody needs a debugging file. Regular users don't use this, but it's good practice for security to lock it so that way someone can't cover their tracks when they're doing something naughty on your site. So you'll check that box too, and you're going to save that setting for your firewall. Okay, you can actually add additional firewall rules if you want to. If that's your thing and you're into firewalls, cool. This is where you do it. If you don't know what you're doing, don't mess with these settings, okay? I did not turn that on, the disable indexing view, because it caused some weird things to happen to my site, so I left it off. I did disable the trace and tracking on my site. I did not turn on forbidden proxy comment posting. And you have to be very careful when it's the advanced ones because they can do weird things. I did deny the bad query strings because I don't want cross-site scripting and weird stuff to happen on my site. So I definitely want to block that. So that's why I checked that. And I did not block this because I saw some weird things happen on my site. So definitely read the more information boxes when you are selecting things that I don't have turned on, because you should know what have more information before you do that. And when you're done, again, don't forget to hit the blue save button below. Okay, the G6 Blacklist firewalls for cell phone stuff. I'm not using it. It really did not give me any benefit for my site, nor did it help anything. You have the G6 and the G5 blacklisting. It didn't help my site at all. It didn't do anything worth it for my site. So I didn't turn it on. Only turn on things you know that you're going to need. Neither one of these were necessary for me and my website. Internet bots. Those things are a pain. They are annoying, and I made sure to turn that on. I want to block fake Google bots and all that, because I'm okay with a Google bot checking my site, because they use that for indexing. Google has bots that they use to index your site, so that way your site can be found in search for whatever search topic your post or page is for. But there are some nasty characters out there that do those, that make fake ones that impersonate the Google bot, so you want to block those nasty fake ones. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm setting that I have turned on. So you turn it on too, and you hit save. Prevent hot links. I have that turned on for my site, because I don't want hot linking on my images, because it will drain your bandwidth of your site, and it will make your site slow, and other people will do that to your site. Don't allow them to do that. So definitely check that. And then you can always read the blue description boxes above for that, but I have that checked. I have the 404 detection turned on my site. And what that does for you... Oh, I have another plugin for that. I'm sorry. I used another plugin for it because this one was not working the way I wanted to. So, I actually used the rank math SEO. I just didn't like the way this one worked, so I don't have this one turned on. But I do have another plugin that does the same thing, that does something similar. So that way it does not cause confliction, because you don't want two plugins doing the same thing. It can cause problems with your site. And then you can set up custom rules for your site. You don't have to unless you want to. Okay, this one's important. Brute force. This is where you control your WordPress login address, so that way people cannot try to get into the back end of your WordPress site and change settings and compromise your site. This is where you control that, so you can block that kind of behavior. Once you reset it, you are all set. It will display your new address here. I'm blocking some of the information because I'm not going to share that information with the world of what my admin page name is, because that's for me to know and not to share. But here you just go ahead and check this box. You put what you want in this portion that appends to the end of your website name, and you hit save. This will give you the new name. Make sure you write this down before you hit save, because it will potentially log you out and you have to log back in. So make sure you write down what you put in this box along with your address so you can get back in. And then you hit the save button, and that's why they give you this warning message up here. So make sure to always read the warning boxes. Okay, cookie-based brute force prevention. You're going to want to read this, decide if this is right for you and your site. It's depending on you. They do have a tutorial video for you, so you can make a more informed decision on whether you want to turn this on or off on your site. This can cause your site to act weird. Says so right here. So as you watch the video right here before you do it and before you set it. But I have mine not set because it causes issues with my site. I don't know why that did a secret word. Okay, this is if you want to set the Google CAPTCHA piece on your site. It's up to you if you want to do that. I didn't set it up on my site, but it's totally up to you if you want to turn this on. I had it turned on at one point. It made my site act weird, so I turned it off. I do have the lost password form for that has a captcha on it to keep from bots trying to get into my site, or fake people trying to get in. So, because it means it's actually a person. I also have one for custom login turned on. So I have these two turned on. The rest of them I do not, because either I didn't want to set up the Google version, or it didn't act the way I wanted on my site. So, set these two boxes and hit save. Okay, you can also do whitelist login. Okay, here's the whitelist login. Definitely read the two boxes up here before you get started to see if that's what you want. Login whitelist. Read the two boxes before you decide if that's what you want to turn on. For your site, I did not turn it on. Honeypot. This is really great to keep hackers out and stuff like that. It did something weird with my site when I had it on, so I don't have it on. Definitely read the box up here to decide if you want to turn it on. It's totally up to you if you want that. But you know, this stuff, or these things get updated over time, so you can always test it later. But it's totally up to you. Okay, spam prevention on your comments. This is great, especially for your site. I had this one on at one point, and it kept everybody from commenting on my site, even valid ones. So I unchecked this a while back because I wasn't getting any comments. So that's up to you. I do block spam bot comments, and it works really well. So this one works really well, and I have that turned on. So make sure to check the box and save. And also you can block spam comments by their IP address. I don't use BuddyPress or BBPress. If you do, then you would check the settings for these two. I don't use them, so I don't have any of those set at all on my site. Okay, now it's to the scanner, and it lets you know if there's things that change with your host file. I recently did an update, so that's why this message is showing up. But I know it was me who did that, so I know it's okay. But it also checks that stuff for you. I do have this turned on. I have it checked. Scan intervals and file types to ignore, because I'm always doing things with pictures and stuff. So I don't need it to report that I loaded a picture or changed the size of a picture on my site, because that would be silly. So I don't need it to tell me that. And then I have it email me when changes happen that I don't want to happen to my email. And I just check the box, put in my email address, and hit the save button. And then that's all set. And then we can look at the malware scanner. Here's the malware scanner. And it looks for nasty things that could happen to your site in here. They tell you more about it. And you want to learn more, you can hit the click here, and it tells you everything that it's doing for you to protect your site from nasty viruses and unpleasant things that you don't want happening on your site. Maintenance. You can have a set message that shows up to people to let them know that when you're doing maintenance, they see what's going on. But this only shows up when you're in maintenance mode. My site's not in maintenance mode right now, so you're not going to see that message. But you can put whatever message you want and hit the save button. All right, for the miscellaneous copy protection, this keeps people from scamming things off your site by right-clicking and copying. This one, I tried this setting, but it didn't work the way I expected to. So I have a different plugin that protects my site from that behavior, from that happening. So it's called Right Protect plugin, and you can actually find that in the plugin store. And it's free and it works great, and I use that instead of this one, so I had this turned off. I will leave the name and the link to the Right Protect plugin down below for you to make it easier for you to get a hold of, so you can protect your site from people who steal your content off your site. The enable iframe protection, I have that turned off because I use ads on my site and they require iframe. So unless you're not using iframe on your site, you can go ahead and check the box and hit save. I don't have it turned on because I actually use that type of code on my site. So it's all depending on what you're doing, but if you use frames or iframes, you're going to want to keep that. Okay, disable user enumeration. You want to make sure that's turned on because you don't want people trying to get into your site by hacking the URL or doing nasty, naughty things they shouldn't be doing. It keeps people and bots from doing it. So you're going to want to check that box and hit the save button. That way you're covered there. And then last is the WP REST API. There are different plugins that use a REST API. I currently use it for different things on my site, so I do not have it turned on, because if you use a REST API key for your site for different reasons and you have this turned on, it will block it, and then what you're trying to do will not work. So you don't want that to happen, and that's no fun. And then you're going to be trying to figure out why it didn't work. And that's everything with all-in-one WP security plugin. So I hope you found this video useful. I will leave the backup video down below, a link to that, and the link to the Right Protection plugin also down below for you, to make it easier for you to get a hold of, because it makes your life so much easier. Also, like and subscribe to my site if you enjoy my videos and want to learn more about taking care of your WordPress blog, or learn more about blogging in general. The questions and comments below, I will answer them. Check me out at Nerdy Moms United.